Weird stuff going on. So it's Gemmalady, and I am in New Game Plus, and I'm just waiting for my video to show up on YouTube. There it is. Woo! Okay, let's share it to a bunch of different places, and then we'll get going. All right, here we go. Craziness. All right, I'm gonna just paste it here. There we go. Paste onwards, and then let's go here. Gotta find Chibi. Where are you? Oh. There we go. Right after my happy Thanksgiving message. Paste. There we go. And one last spot. Okay. Sorry about this. And all right. So if you tuned in before, this is essentially the same team from the other night. And oops, I'm now seeing um, um, like different messages. Sorry about that. Now I'll go back to YouTube on my phone just because, I don't want to miss anything here and all. It's crazy. All right. Oh, I don't want to hear myself either. All right, so there we go. So it took me it's a good thing I logged in early because it took me a while again because something goofy's going on and I'm not sure what it is. Can't even explain it. Doesn't really matter. It's just like the very first friend that Kate made was actually Barahir, because Kate was like my alt account, so immediately those two were, you tag team them and everything. And now between those two, because of, the amount of people, I guess, I'm not sure how this works or if it's because I don't really know. It's kind of crazy. It's all started transpiring in like the last 10 days or so, and maybe it has to do with, I'm not really sure. Hey, hi, Photon from South America. Hi, Gamer, good evening. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because I know your favorites list can't be filled up, and that much I know. And I'm not sure if it's because one of my lists is super long and the second one is getting there. But then that would also affect like Shadow, who's my mage, and she's got a long friend list. Oh, look at these two staring at each other like, what's the matter with you? Sorry, I'm talking. I'm talking. Don't look at me that way. Hi, Pam. And so it's all started happening in the last 10 days, and I'm not really sure why that is. Both of these are like the old accounts, like really old. And so I'm not sure why. Like at times I log in and just today it's the first time I haven't been able to like go into my favorites and find Bear right away. She was privated, which is so strange. And and it's been happening where Bear I can't get Kate, and that's a private. And I know I haven't changed any of the settings, lest you ask. Have I changed any settings anywhere on my PlayStation? No, I haven't done that. So I'm not sure, what that is. I'm sure it's game related and it has to do with the list of people. Dragon's Dogma is an, odd game with like how many it allows you, but my favorites list is very small. So I'm not really sure why that is. Hello, there she's over there. There she is. And so I'm not entirely sure what that all is. But anyway, we're going to move on. I've rested it so many times now trying to get this to work. And I'm not sure if now both of them have to be logged in because I can still see like Gem and Shadow, but I can't ever see. Well, I could always see Barahir too, but tonight's the first time I've logged in and couldn't see Barahir and had to go back and forth. So I'm glad I went in early. So anyway, so we're gonna try something a little different. Let me see if Kate's got what I want on her. Yep, and I think, and these guys all have stuff. And I've given Barahir some extra stuff to carry around for me. I'm gonna see how this works. So I'm trying out something different. It's not going to affect my gameplay, all that much. I just want to try it and see if, um, you know, Bear has always been really good when I hand her things of using them. And usually what I've done is when I have a mage or if I have a sorcerer that can, unfortunately people make tiny sorcerers. I don't know why they do that, but um, I'll hand off to the sorcerer or the mage like the extra Tagulous Miracles or the extra um, Talamet Secrets. Yep, no, no worries. So I'll hand them off to the mage or the sorcerer because they seem to be the ones that use them the best. And then I hand off like Steel Nut Salve to like one of the other group members. And Kate always has the mushrooms, and I never really, the mushroom stash, so that when she gets low on her mushrooms, she can just group heal, which is, or group use the group curatives, which is great. So invalid data means either the person got disconnected in the middle of, this happens if it's on the Switch. It will happen because the person got disconnected in the middle of returning the rent. And so, like sometimes, at least on the Switch, this is what I've noted. You usually will get like the rating, but no gift, and then no Rift crystals. Or you'll get no gift, Rift crystals, and no rating, or you'll get nothing, just invalid data. So it usually means they disconnected, lost their internet connection in the middle of returning the rent. It's it happens on the PlayStation 2, especially with people that don't hardwire in their console, which I learned way long even before I started playing this game because of lag that it doesn't have the best Bluetooth system in it, and so um, oh, on the Switch for sure, it happens all the time. And in fact, people, it was kind of in the first few weeks, people were like trading things back and forth, and you'd get a rock, and you'd say to the person, you knew the person, and you'd, hey, I got a rock, what happened? And we started to figure out there were a lot of disconnects because people are playing it handheld or if not handheld, in the dock. And if it's not close to the router, then a lot of times you lose connection and you may not even be aware of it. And so you and because if you've seen my gameplay when I play on the Switch, how long it takes, like as you rest, it takes a long time for that, uh, little like purple bar to move across, and the whole time I keep my fingers crossed. Now I'm hardwired in, but it still takes a long time on my Switch. So, and it can happen here too, simply because at the other end the person might not be hardwired in, and so they will, you'll that's what'll happen. They'll lose connection. Maybe the internet goes down in their house or there's a hiccup or whatever the case might be. So especially if, for example, um, there are people who are playing the game and they're not only playing the game on their, on the wireless, not hardwired in, but then there's people in the home using other things in the home that are like phones, tablets, um, other things that aren't hardwired in, and everybody's on the bandwidth, and so you can have a hiccup. Yeah, well, um, if you, it wouldn't say corrupted, it would say invalid data either way. So it wouldn't say corrupted. It wouldn't say corrupted data or some hack. It wouldn't say that. It would just say invalid data. And then if you went to go, if you knew, like if you absolutely knew it was your friend, you knew it for certain, you both talked back and forth, and you said, they said they actually sent you a message like, I just sent your pawn back with XYZ, a moon shimmer pelt, for example, rest to pick it up, and you rested to pick it up, and it was corrupted, it said invalid data, and you got back to them. And then when you tried to type in their name into the actual, you know, when you're waiting for it there at the Rift Stone, and then it came back, sometimes it'll say invalid data or corrupted data, and then you'll know. But most of the time, people won't like uh, pursue it any further. Like with invalid data, I usually don't pursue it any further because I really don't know what's going on the back end. It can also be at your end. So you went to, but this is highly unlikely, but you went to pick up the rent, and I've had that happen where I've gone to pick up the rent and I've lost connection. We had that happen, was over in the summer, and it was a really, really, really hot day. Had to be close to 100, and so no one was outside. So everybody was in their home, and I live in condominiums. So even though we each have our dedicated lines, there's obviously X amount of bandwidth that comes out from a server, like to buildings and such, and I'll notice like stuff like slow down in my house, even though I'm the only one on the internet, and we had a hiccup, like a literal hiccup, in the middle of the day, where my phone and everything kind of went ugh, just for a second. It wasn't very long, but it was just for a second. So multiple people must have been indoors enjoying, whatever. People might have been on the phone or texting or playing games or whatever people do, like these days. And so the rents came back, and I got the, you know, something about rest to retry because I had a hiccup, and the person at the other end that I was sending something to didn't get what I wanted to send them. So I looked, and it was gone out of my inventory. So it wasn't like I got it back, and I had to send another. I had to dupe it actually because it was something like a moon shimmer pelt that I didn't have a whole lot of, but I was willing to let go. But a lot of times when someone then repeats it, like after time three, oh, I didn't get it, then I'm done because I don't always, whatever. But yeah, well, I have the game digitally. I don't have it on disc. I have my PlayStation 3 version, but it's funny because my PlayStation 3 version of the game is the original vanilla, and when I upgraded it, I actually bought it like the digital DLC, Dark Arisen. So if it ever goes where we're able to play, like if the PlayStation 5 becomes backwards compatible and Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for the PlayStation 3 is allowed to be used disc-wise, then I have the vanilla version, but it would still probably need the rest of it to operate. So I'd probably have to buy the game all over again. Well, fling it across the. Yeah, but it could have copied it in a bad sector of the HDD, possibly. I I don't ever run into that. People have issues, but I think I don't really know like why. I'm not that kind of like person that understands like all of the ins and outs, because they do say when you own a digital copy, it is digital. So, it's not like when you actually have the physical copy in your hand. That's a lot of the beef these days with stuff. And it was funny because my Diablo 3 was also on disc for PlayStation 3, and I could hear the game revving up as I did things in the game. I'd hear that disc spinning up, as as I would go through the game, and all of us in our like party chats and stuff used to laugh like, "Wait a minute," because the game would lag a little because we were all playing it on disc. And then when the Reaper of Souls, I think, came out, I just bought it digitally. And then when you did that, it came with the entire game. So I no longer had to use my disc anymore. It was fantastic. But by then I was hardwired in too, so because I'd learned my lesson. Like that's just killer when you're like doing something like this and you see yourself hitting it, but like stuff still doing weird stuff because it's lag. I know I don't play shooters or anything, but I understand that there's tasks people like know that play them that understand. But you know what? And again, we used to laugh about it because we'd say, "Oh, I'm lagging," and everything. But it for all of that, it really wasn't problematic for me and my friends. And you really, that's where people started to really start to feel the impact of like how much uh, bandwidth they had or data they were getting or their internet speed. People really started to pay attention to what they had. And I know for me, like I I've bought the best that I can have, um, where I could probably go one tier up, and I may one day. But I'm pretty doggone good for where I'm at, like how much I'm on fiber optic and everything's hardwired in, except for my phone. So I don't tend to worry too much about it. I don't play shooters anyway, so oh I I didn't lose sounds or drop rates or stuff like that. You just you'd rubber band. That's how you knew you were lagging. Like you'd rubber band a bit, and that's how you knew. Like we'd always laugh. I'm rubber banding. But as soon as Reaper of Souls came out, then everything was digital. It was kind of like Dark Arisen. Once that came out, it's almost like the game got packaged together, and I don't remember, and it's been so long, so I don't remember having to put my disc in to play it. Um, but I could be totally mistaken because I've played so many games since then. Yeah, you'd bounce forward and back, and it's annoying actually, because especially in I played a demon hunter, so I had this thing that a turret. It was almost like she was a turret. She spun around in a circle, like doing all of these shots, and I'd be bouncing off the walls. It looked hilarious, and finally, people. We knew some of it was not even on our end. It was like the animations, because there's so many crazy good animations in that game, like so many cool stuff that goes on. And then you've got a wizard dropping meteors all over the place, and you've got a demon hunter spinning like a turret, shooting all of these things and dropping down these little mini turrets, and barbarians doing their thing, and it was pretty awesome with four different players doing their thing, and just an explosion of psychedelia across the screen. Yep, that was a totally fun game. I don't know, it was. I wonder what's going to happen. We're gonna move along though. I wonder what's going to happen when they, because we're getting Diablo 4, and there's all of these things that people want, and I think a lot of the things that people want are things, they I don't want to see old systems come back. Like I don't want to see the auction house come back ever. That was gone by the time it came out to consoles. Thank God they'd fixed that, and they'd fixed a couple other things. But because PC got it first. Oh goody. Oh, there we go. Some stutter. But yeah, and I don't want to see them say, well, let's go for the nostalgia and bring back some of these things that, where you actually paid real world money for stuff. I don't want to see that. That's as bad as loot boxes. So I hope they don't do that. Yeah, well, and then it's basically drop this down and grab what. Oh, okay, she picked that up. All right, goody. Let's go down here. Just weave between these bad boys. All right, off we go. It is in a way. It's like It's like any game where there's something in it that... There we go. Head. All right. All right, so what we're doing is we're all right, we'll go for it, girls. Although I probably could just do this. And then it's gone.
This looks interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like in other games where people set up bots to you know, mine things, for example, and then they sell it to other people that are too busy to or don't want to spend the time like setting stuff up because it's a pain, you know. And but auction houses, I don't know about that. I didn't play Diablo 2, so, you know, but I know there were a lot of people that were really bummed when it went away, but I just think it's bad. I like the system, and I think it made for, like, I made good friends in that game. I mean, I had hours and hours of fun playing Diablo 3 with Reaper of Souls, and especially once we could, yes, I couldn't do it, but I used modded gear, um, and that was a whole lot of fun. Um, I know that there was a line drawn between, you know, people jump in your party, oh, do you have modded gear? And, you know, then they curse and scream and yell, and, you know, then there was a line drawn between that, and I was just like, man, just, it's, you know, oh golly. Okay, are there some doggos here? Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, that one's gonna, they always sneak past you. Okay. Oh, look at that, stuck in the... Alright, no more hellhounds. Alright, girls. There you go. We're on hard mode now with the same team that was with me on Wednesday. And so we're looking at like different things. Hey, that guy, I know I hit him. Oh, I knew he was going to do that. And that. Oh my goodness, he hit me good. Okay, those guys are down. Kate must have been far enough away. Go get Roz. Oh, missed me. Stagger, roar, come on. Enough of that baloney. Oh. Let's see. I heard them say the horn is destroyed, so sometimes you get a fire drake fang out of it. Let's see though, might have been I got it already, or someone else picked it up, or I didn't get one. And I'm not, you know, wait a minute. Oh, I already saw that. Hellhound pelt. Okay. Just double check. Woo woo. Okay. Usually I get like lucky and but if it decides, again, it's if you remember the like semi like the 9 out of 10 times you know what's going to happen, but there's the one time where the beast does something like you don't expect. And so, cool. We waited around and we're going to get some fun. Okay, you got it, you got it. I'm putting the fire on it for you guys. All right, they set it up perfectly for me. Beautiful. Not much work to be done. No, because what with Damon, no, I have like a bunch of recordings of me just going in there, la-di-da, and getting it done. But then he started like punching, biting, like leaping forward, and so I'm wary now that most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I stun lock him. It's that one time where he just comes flying towards me, and I think, what the heck is he doing? And I've stepped over. There's like a boundary almost, and the Mystic Knight has to cross it all the time. Like there's 3 guys on the bridge, for example, on the way into Bitter Black Sanctum, and you'll the Mystic Knight almost has to cross that boundary, and so as a result, you get all 3 of the guys coming at you. And the Magic Archer and the Ranger and the Strider, they don't have to cross that boundary. They can pull them off one by one. Probably the Sorcerer, I don't play it, but I would imagine the Sorcerer gets the same sort of ranged break too. I'm not sure. And I think it has to do with like Holy Focus Bolt and how it travels almost in a straight line. Alright, just took that one out. Whatever. We'll go kill the beast then. Okay, thank you. Oh. Fulmination is great when you control it, but like and I like Fulmination a lot, but when I don't control it and I'm waiting on oh gosh, so let's be careful here, because death likes to show up when we get the cursed pawns. Back we go. Yeah, you're gonna be nasty, aren't ya? Look at him getting ready to do his thing. All right, and there he is. Did I not say? There's death right there. Come on, girls, back in here. Back in here, back in here, back in here. All right, yeah. Got too close. All right. I'm still gonna fall in the water. The trouble is my lantern goes out and then death takes off. All right, let's turn my lantern. Wait a minute, come on. Oh, I'm wet. Duh. I'm like, wow, my controller didn't. Oh, that's why I'm on my other controller, the one I don't like. Oh, God. I didn't even check. I'm probably down on battery, too. Why are you over there, Death? Because my lantern went out. Look at him. I know. Come on, girls. My lantern went out. And so death takes off like that. There's a lesson for people that don't know how to get rid of death. And he's stuck somewhere, and I don't know where he is. I hear him. He's trying to show up. Oh, he took off. Okay. I just wet myself. Yeah, that threw me off when I couldn't find Barahir at all, and that's really odd that you go in there and you can't find like your pawn, uh, and it's like the number first like quote unquote friend on your friends list, and all of a sudden you can't find it. So sorry to anyone that I kind of looked at and said I don't know who you are, and I think I have to go through another list as well. All right. So this is different. So up here, um, back. In a minute, I'm going to, oh, that's going to disconnect my, yeah, because what it was I was like, well, let me get on the game and start everything up. Why are, everything's misbehaving on me up here. This is driving me nuts. And it threw me off too. It throws you off because it's happened. I can prepare for it on my Barahir account. Oh, look at that. Here we go. Hi. Just standing there. And kind of, get rolling on that. But it's been happening a lot. But I did not foresee it. I was on here. So my thought was, well, once I get connected, I'll just change controllers to the one that I like. Because I get a stuttering on this one. And, I use a freshly charged controller as well. Oh, 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 oh. Girls! Holy cow! Alright. There we go. Alright, Barahir. So it kind of throws you off when you're like, okay, I better get going. I'm looking at the clock the whole time because you're wanting to start on time and all. And it took me like 10 minutes and I was going back and forth between two accounts. So that's, if anyone has a PlayStation 4 and you have an alt account, you know what I mean. You're having to log into the game, like check in the Rift, try to figure out what's going on, log out of the game, go to the other account, log into that game, try to figure out what's going on there. It was kind of crazy, and I have a feeling it has to do with the size of. I've been told with the favorites list, I know it's the size of that. Like you can't have more than 100 people on it, but and lest anyone ask, I do have the settings all correct, or I wouldn't be able to see, like, say, Gem and Shadow, which I clearly can do. And up until, yeah, well, I didn't check yesterday, obviously. And I didn't check Thursday either, because I wasn't, I was busy doing Turkey Day stuff. But, oh, do we want to? Let's open all the chests now. Let's do that. Uh, and so Wednesday was the last time, and I kind of checked all the accounts. Everything seemed fine, and cleared all, a bunch of stuff, and then said, "Yep, I've got like family and friends and things to attend to over the next few days, as well as big people stuff that you have to do." And so I'm not going to be logged into the game every minute to check its status or what's going on. And the game hasn't had like a update here. Whew. I actually, when I clicked on it, because somebody said there had been some sort of an update, blah, blah, blah. So I checked, and it was a language compatibility thing, but that was done when I got the game. In other words, so whatever patches had
Treasure
come
perhaps?
prior to when I bought the game, they were already installed. And so, it's not like the game gets updates anymore like that. All right, let's just grab what's in here. And again, we're going to follow the same route, gazer. We're going to skip sort of the tower area. Let's see, we're good there. Do, 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 do. All right. Oh, you know what? Let's grab the rest of things. No, I don't want to do that. Let me pick this up. Holy cow. And this controller. Like, let me walk into walls, too, as long as I'm at it. What's up? Hi, Spidey. Alright, I don't need any of this stuff.
The wandering. If you've the need,
Alright.
be
Don't need that. Probably don't need... Ooh, I've got a lot of oil. Don't need that. Okay, we'll add all this stuff in. Yep. So going that route isn't very profitable as far as like picking up level 3 stuff. Obviously, if you want level 3 stuff, you're gonna, make trips to the Helix and grab like level 3 gear. You're gonna spend time over those 2 chests that I just said, I'm not gonna save in Godsbane over here in that outside hallway because both of those chests hold level 3 gear in those. And so, all right, she's carrying that for us. And, ooh, she's doing good. All right. And so, I'm not going to have a whole lot of stuff to obviously turn in. The kind of great area is to be out there where you get the Dire Drake and obviously a Cursed Dragon. And, the rest here isn't that impressive. All right, so looks like Barahir did. So I gave her 4. She used 1. So she is using, and I noted that Shadow, or usually Shadow will use both of these, both the Talagus Miracles and the Salamet Secret. And when I give a sorcerer this, they never use this ever. They're always using this. It's almost like they don't know to use this one. So this is an experiment, and we're seeing like how that plays out. All right, so let's grab what else, because I was in a rush then to get rolling here. Let's. She's gonna go through a few, I think, and also, so we're coming to, I think, in the one where I was like my high damage pawn, like when I was like Strider pawn, and I went through the build, and I was talking about proficiency. So like Striders are efficient. They're, I have proficiency on mine so that when she does climb things, and or she does brain splitter, or she does things that use stamina, she doesn't use a lot of stamina. But when she gets to the gazer, she's going to start to spam her bow skills, and proficiency doesn't cover that at all. All right, she used that. Give her one of those. So now we'll start to see. Okay, so that was me that had to use cloths that time. Ah, that's funny. Drag them back to the sewers, and they're like, yeah, let me, all right, I think we're good here. And they're like, yeah, let me get doused in something. And did I give? I bet I didn't. All right, I better give. Who can carry more? I better give it to Barahir. All right. Da 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 da. Everybody's got that. We're good here. And you may note when I go here, and you'll be like, well, why doesn't Kate have a lantern? I just gave Kate an elite lantern. It doesn't shine any brighter for a pawn than it does you know, as a regular lantern, but it's just one way that I don't accidentally sell it. Not that I care, because on another one I must have had like 7 or 8 of them. I think my main account, like 7 or 8 elite lanterns trying to get, I don't know what I was trying to get now. It's been too long. Holy cow. All right, they're good there. And they went through oil arrows. Natch. Okay. Probably on that Drake, they tend to use it, and on the cockatrice too. Everybody's got one of those. We're good there. All right.
What'll it be then? If you've the no.
Let's rest. So you'll start to see Barahir. She'll probably use 1 or 2 mushrooms, and I always feel like the damage could be worse because she's spamming like 5-fold flurry and cloudburst volley on the gazer, especially if I let the fight go on for a long period of time.
When jumping down a ledge, judge well the distance.
Well, at least we're not getting a respawn of these guys, because they tend to like to respawn. Okay, onward. Let's see who we're going to get here. Let's see if Death wants to show up here too. Nope. I'm going to come... All right.
Even in numbers, a weakling is a weakling still. What else would you expect? With my help?
All right, we got one more guy to go. Yes, thank you. That's pretty valuable. Don't... Oh, somebody's picking that stuff up for me. Great, 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 great. Okay, let's see if this guy's hanging around down. Yep, I see him. How about if I knock him back for you? Let's see. Let's take it. Let's make an experiment. Okay, he's knocked back, girls. Go.
Is that all you have at once? At once.
All right, so
That's all.
all right, we got a buddy. Oh God, I always get knocked on my tush. Yep, I'm trying. I'm trying to figure out which way it wants to come. This way. Alright, nice work, girls. Oh, there's that weird thing. That's not my controller. That's me standing, waiting for the monster to decay. Now that's... Ah. Come on, let me pick that up. That is one fugly Ooh. Will somebody get that out of a chest or what? Did they pick that up? Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay. Alright, so we did not get the endlessly spawning cursed pawns. 4 living armor and your dragon. Well, the Ur Dragon, he's not that bad. He really isn't. I mean, honestly, because he's slow, you can avoid a lot of what he does. It's really easy to avoid a lot of what he does. He kind of transmits before he's gonna like cast Holy Furor and some of the other things he does. So I can't get at its eye. Okay. So I'm calling the girls down because they will keep him held up here. And Kate and Barahir will like be shooting him arrows. And then he turns his eye to them, but then I can't get at it. Alright, now I'm down. Ugh, that's my controller. Come on. Stop misbehaving. If I change controllers, it'll log me out of YouTube. So I can't. I'm stuck. Come on, poke yourself. Oh! I got him to poke himself in the eye.
Let's have a look. This object is cursed. We have triumphed.
Yes, we have,
That's
Kate.
all.
God bless you. Yes, we have. I know. I was trying to do that. I've got to try and get it to poke its eye out. It's hilarious when it happens. But sometimes a pawn will stand under there. Like Shadow, she'll tend to stand right about here. And then she'll move kind of close, you know, underneath him. But he won't always poke an eye out just because a pawn does that. And I've stood under there and not managed to do it. But it seemed like that time chances were in my favor because he kept like poking up his own tentacles from the big tentacles from the ground. They're kind of gross looking. Ah, no turkey where you live. Well, there's a lot of people who don't do turkey at Thanksgiving. There's people who do, you know, for whatever reason, maybe they don't like turkey, so they'll do ham. Eh, like turkey for me is a, you know, like turkey and stuffing one time a year. I can't do it any more than that. Um, I like stuffed chicken, but I can't do turkey more than it's very, to me, it's like a rich meat, a rich bird, you know, rich, not fatty, because I don't eat the dark meat, but I guess maybe it's everything you have combined, because you have turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, you might have squash, you might have sweet potatoes, you might have yams, you might have like just every vegetable that's like fall. The you know salad, rolls, homemade bread,
You feel that?
you know,
Just
and
leave
everything.
the lid
So
on the
one
pot.
year when my kids were little,
Ice.
um, I was in a situation. Oh, I know what it was. So my kids were little, and my parents had sold my childhood home, and they had moved to. I let them move in with me. I know, right? Recipe for disaster. I let them move in with me because they had all this, like their home sold suddenly. They didn't expect it to sell that quickly. So as a family, we were scrambling because their new home wasn't built yet, and so my brother took all of their like stuff they couldn't fit into storage, and another friend of theirs of my parents, they took other things into their like basement. My brother had a basement. He took all this stuff, and I offered my home to my parents, and so my parents moved in with me. So it's Thanksgiving, and my baby brother has a friend come in that he went to high school with, and I knew him, of course. Um, he came in from California, and I knew him and everything. And so this guy's coming in from California, and he wants to see my brother. My brother is like, what am I going to do? And so my mother didn't hated my stove. She hated my stove with a passion because in the home I grew up in, we had a convection oven, and in my home, I just had a regular oven. So she was constantly blaming my stove for her burning food in it all the time. And I said, and she was worried she'd burn the turkey. So we had spaghetti and meatballs and garlic bread and salad that day. But we had like all of the, it was my mom and dad were there and I was there. My brother brought his friend from California. You know, the kids thought this was the best Thanksgiving ever because, you know, kids love spaghetti and meatballs, especially like homemade spaghetti and meatballs and garlic bread and, you know, like that. And sometimes kids don't always like turkey dinner with stuffing and all of that. They don't maybe like it. They thought this was the best thing ever. So it was really fun. And they still remember, well, my daughter remembers, you know, she go like, hey, remember that time we had spaghetti for Thanksgiving? And so now, let me put things away here. Her and I, because now we don't always, she can't always make like some of the family things, because she has things to go to, and so she can't make all of them. She has her own obligations, of course, and so when we do like do we have something her and I together, and so what we will do is we will do Italian in memory of that time when my mom had to make spaghetti and meatballs because she hated my oven, and my daughter just thinks it's the best thing ever. She's like, that was the best Thanksgiving ever, Ma, you know, and
If
we
you
always laugh
visit
about it.
Rhoda,
Treasure, perhaps?
Hello, Mr. Misery. So yeah. And a lot of people too, they do ham like turkey twice. They'll do it not only at Thanksgiving, but then they do it at Christmas. A lot of people do ham at Christmas. Some people flip it around and do ham at Thanksgiving, you know, and then turkey at whatever. But in my house, like where I go for the holidays, it's turkey with all of the stuff. And you know, I depending on who's having it, then usually we you bring something. And my niece-in-law is a great baker, so she had every pie under the sun that you can possibly think of. Pecan, apple, pumpkin, and then I don't know, all these little cakes and things. Like, God, it was just like loaded with like stuff, and just like, oh, it was just incredible. All right, and I think we're good. We're on our way. Let's go. Let's go take out the. Thinking about getting this game? It's a good game. It's my favorite game. You're looking at basically um, like one of the vocations you can be. So I'm a magic archer, but I also have with me like three of they're pawns, but like all of them are high damage pawns. So in other words, you too could be one of them, if you will. So that's a ranger. We have a strider, and behind me is a warrior. She's coming up there. I always cast this way too close to the door. So I'll pull up to the door then, and we'll get Roz to come in this. Come on, Roz. Walk through it. Come on, girl. All right, we're good. Oh, I must not have slept enough. Well, poopy doo. Well, you know what? I'm still going to go up here and farm something. Let's kill off what's up here. Maybe we can, and that's part of the other part, because going back and forth between like two accounts and resting too, trying to get the right amount. Oh, I'm not going to get good. It's not the one where you get death to spawn in. So fortunately we won't have death here either. But I want to make up for the fact that we won't be getting the Dark Bishop. Although when someone plays on hard and uses your pawn, they get twice the amount of Rift Crystals, and we're all level 200. So that's a good earnings take for Roz when, you know, she gets done. Now, granted, I'm not doing the entire... Yeah, I see you, buddy. I'm not doing the entire map, which is completely different. You know what? I'm going to grab this too. Okay. Let's grab this, this, and this. Okay. What did you drop for me? Whoop! They're just scattering all kinds of stuff. That's right, we had those three, like, right in a row. Sometimes his tail, what he drops, will be back. No? Okay. I'll let them.
I wonder what's inside. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, because I saw your comments, and there was a little bit of a heated debate over that, about...
This looks interesting. Let's have a look.
Oh, this is like the... No, I'm not. I'm actually not gonna... I've taken a chill pill on it, because I'm kind of tired of defending a class that I love. You know, people say a lot of things, and I'm tired of defending something that's good. It used to be, if you know the history of the game, this was one of the worst classes in the game. Really one of the worst classes to play. And then everybody played Assassin. Everybody played it. I mean, my friends played the game. That I'm like, what are you playing as? Oh, Assassin, man. Because,
Let's have a look.
like, they just were the boss of the game, and then they brought out Dark Arisen.
Be mindful of your pawn's health. Combat and entrenchment.
Oh, hi. Got a lot of these guys. Oh, which means we're getting Pyrosaurians, so that's good. These guys are crabbing about it. A lot of times I know they're there because they poke their heads through the wall. These guys were quite sneaky.
What else would you expect? With my help?
Oh, lava rock. Any crimson stone among this? No? Okay. I'm only going this far, and because we've gotten rid of the wraiths, I'll go back, grab the... Yep, go ahead. Go for it.
I wonder what's
Go
inside.
for it. Alright. I'm not going all the way up to the top and backwards. Defeats the purpose. Not going up there, because that's usually something, a laurel circlet or something I don't necessarily want. Going down, 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 down. I'm just going to run past all this. Don't care. Alright, moving along. We picked up like junk. I mean, it's not junk. It's just I have a ton of them already. Yeah, I never got into it. That's sacrilege. Hellfire. I mean, from the stats point of view. Oh, I did come up here. Did I? Why am I staring at this? Was I talking the whole time? I must have been. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Or is it part and parcel with me coming here experimenting? Because a lot of times I will experiment with a move set and I'll use the Dark Bishop as my testing grounds because he's got a pet dragon, you know, and the dragon doesn't usually get off the ground for me. Like, I've seen him fly like once. I'm losing my mind. All right. And he's not here, but if I step in the riftstone, sometimes he comes out.
Thicker.
I'm telling you, when you go and you expect, when you touch a riftstone and you expect to see like a pawn that you've always seen, when you touch that riftstone and you go to your favorites list and it shows up as private, and you're like, wait, okay, so he still hasn't shown up. Am I overly heavy? Nah, we can keep going. I hope I don't get the lizards here. I'm so sick of getting the lizards here. I had them Saturday, I had them Monday, I had them Wednesday. Like, I'm really sick of coming in here and getting the lizards. A testing. Like I said, I use the Dark Bishop because you've got. Um,
It's too dark.
oh, goody, goody, goody. All right, this is good. And if that doesn't, if it's over too quick, like in other words, um, all right,
Hey, we could have lost her.
I will use
We need
you
but
know,
offer
get
up
to
the
the garden,
delighted.
and there's the drake there, or the wyvern. I think you get a thunder wyvern, right? And lure a cursed dragon, test everybody out on those, see how it goes, not use anything. I have tried it on Damon, but the problem is that I have to stay really close. I have to stay underneath him, like around him the whole time. I tried doing a thing, so I'm going to pause for a second. I tried doing a thing where I just tried to let the fight go, and I just tried to stay out of Damon's way. But the problem was the pawns were climbing. They were all climbing Damon. It didn't matter what pawn I had or how someone told me my pawn doesn't climb. I saw sorcerers do it. I saw mages do it. I saw warriors do it. I saw fighters do it. Obviously, a ranger and a strider's going to do it because he's the only climbable enemy in the room, and they will climb him. So I had to, like, I would start the fight and pull back, even trying to just stay out of the way. They'd all climb him, and he'd do his whole thing, and it was totally a mess. So I found that if I was going to test on Damon, I had to stay like completely around his backside and just kind of swing with his tail, and then the pawns would sort of hang back. There was no way, like I know there's videos out there where it shows Damon just hanging there. There's no way in console when you go into that fight that when you wait for, even if you try to let the opening animation play where he talks and does his thing and you watch the whole scene, he always crooks his head to the left and to the right, and then he starts the fight. He don't never just hangs there and lets you attack him so that you can test stuff on him. Not on console. I have never been able to do that, and so I've tried a gazillion ways to try to get him to just do that, and he doesn't. He clicks his head to the left, to the right, and then he starts. And he comes forward or he does what he's going to do, and I've run out of his way, and then the pawns just climb him. So I don't use Damon at all. All right, what do we got here? Oh, just snakes. Perfect. All right. So here we go. Not gonna save. Ooh, yay! This is the good room. So see that weird walking? That's my controller. Brand new controller, actually, too. Now I'll take my pawn out alone. But, alright. There we go. Done deal. But I've not ever had to be that vocation to train my pawn. You can if you want, but I don't do that. Like, I'm not gonna come here and play as a warrior if I have a warrior pawn. I didn't train Barahir that way. She was a warrior. I mean, she was a warrior from an early level too. I just played with her, you know. People rented her. When I wanted her to be a strider, though, that was a complete switch. But I was already playing as like a ranged class. I feel like that helped a lot. But I literally had someone who hired her. I hired his pawn, and we did like 3 runs, probably even more, through Bitter Black. Like, I had his strider, he had mine. Oh, yay. Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can get past this Joker. Let's do this, right? That'll knock some of his health off. Okay, that's 1 down. I'm gonna get knocked around anyway by this jerk. Now, what's funny is when I have Shadow here, who's like throwing lightning bolts at this guy, it's like a quick one. Well, yeah, I would say not every pawn you get online is good. The difference is when you go online, you're not just getting the Capcom pawns, because those pawns that you get when you're playing offline are Capcom pawns. So they were created by the developers, kind of plunked in the game, because when you go into speed mode or speed run mode, for example, because you're going for the speed run trophy, and on PlayStation and Xbox and PC, if people are trying to platinum the game, then they're going to do a speed run. And so it automatically puts you in offline mode, and the only pawn you get is your main pawn. And after that, you have to use offline pawns. And so you're using pawns made by Capcom. And they're okay. They're not terrible. And most people don't even use them. They just use their main pawn, and it's, you know, because unless you're doing a serious speed run, in other words, and I forgot, oh, that's right, because he didn't show up out there for me, so, come on. Oh, golly. Okay, fine. Fine. Gonna do that to me, I guess. Yeah, but you know, okay, so I would never use those pawns to train my pawn, because your pawn could learn bad habits. Your pawn could learn something you don't want it to learn, because you don't know who created that pawn. You know, you don't know. We say they're Capcom pawns, but you don't know who created them. So, you know, did they know inclinations, or were they like, yeah, you know, this one does that and this one does that? So if you're going to go offline to test your pawn, then don't use one of the ones out of the rift. I would much rather use like a friend's pawn that I trusted, um, and they and just like with sorcerers that spell sync, they need to have the same augments and skills and as you. Not just two sorcerers, but they have to have the same augments and skills and the basic setup, the same as your pawn. Um, and maybe the person's had that pawn be that way a while. Like, yeah, this is what not like, oh yeah, I decided to make my unless you know how's with so when I did that for Barahir, and this was, now it's a good year and a half ago. Um, the person I thought he had a decent Strider pawn, and so he said, "Well, this is what we're going to do then." And we set up everything exactly the same. When we were messaging back and forth, we set up everything exactly the same. I hired his pawn, he hired mine, and then we did 3 runs through Bitter Black, long runs, like the long
What's
run.
inside?
My pawn learned to open chests. My pawn learned to climb when I wanted her to climb, because she had never climbed before. She was a warrior. They don't really climb. Um, I mean, when Gem was a warrior before she was a fighter, she didn't really climb. She climbs a lot more now. I think she's learned that from my Mystic Knight playthroughs and stuff. I don't know. All right, I'm going to check what's down here. What did we get? What's our surprise for tonight? Oh, okay, goody. Okay. Why don't you guys open this chest for me?
This looks interesting.
Yeah, and if you're wanting to test one in particular, then like let's say you want to test like when I was Shadow, for example, when I was creating my mage, once she got to where I wanted her to be, then I hired a friend's pawn. He didn't take mine, by the way, so again, it doesn't have to be reciprocated. He didn't take mine, but I took his. And there were subtle differences because I didn't agree with some of the choices that they had at the time for augments. They had a lot of they had 1 or 2 that were from like warrior class, and I thought, why? What are you putting warrior augments on a mage pawn, right? Like that makes no sense whatsoever. So I all I did was 1 run. I realized I didn't have to do 3. Yikes. Okay. Ah, God. Well, all right. The ranking system? What? And actually, my thing is, I look at augments first. Well, first, before I ever look at augments, I look at inclinations, because they could have the best armor and augments and all that in the world, and if they turn out to be a guardian, like they're a sorcerer or mage pawn, and then they say guardian scather, or I don't care if they're a warrior or a fighter or anybody and they're a guardian scather, I'm not taking them. Period. I have agreed, because I'm a nice person, and I mean I like to think of myself as one, but I've agreed to take people's pawns. Hey, can you take my pawn? I need rift crystals. I've agreed to take people's pawns, and then later realize, oh my God, why aren't they doing anything? And then I look, and before that like influences my pawn, because I know it'll break my pawn, I will send their pawn back, and then like I've done my due diligence in that I've done what I can, but I'm not gonna run too long because I don't want Guardian to it's super infectious. If inclinations are good, then I check augments. If augments are good, I look at skills, but I also look at rings, because you'd be surprised the weird rings people put on their pawns. And like, why do you have a sorcerer ring on a fighter, and why do you have a warrior ring? I get it that it's the downloadable ring, but you're level 20 something, you should have gone to Grand Sorin, and you can buy Baleful Nails pretty early. So even though there's a magic stat on it, there's a strength stat too, which early on that was Barahir's Cloudburst Volley. My goodness, that girl can do some damage.
This object is cursed.
Oh yeah, there's people that, you know. So Lagsy Gaming, if you're a PlayStation 4 player, he's a friend of mine. Lagsy Gaming has a channel, and he does like all of those. He does a lot of DC Comics and Marvel characters, and I think he's done some other characters too. Some of his first ones were, he's got I can't go up there, can I? I don't have a staff, and nobody picked one up for me anywhere, I'm pretty sure. Nope, didn't get a staff. Yep. You're welcome, MTP. It was a pleasure. Thanks for using Barahir, and I haven't checked on Gem yet, but the rental sure was nice. Oh, there's just gold up there. Okay, I am just all discombobulated tonight. I'm telling ya. Just totally whacked out. That threw me way off.
I wonder what's inside.
Ah. Okay, we are coming back. Well, and here's the other thing. There's this other small little bit that you have to be aware of too. So people will come in the game, and they'll say, I can't find, or like I look and I don't see any pawns in the rift, and I do know that on the Switch we have a bit of a small um, bit, because I've stated this before, where we will um, like put in what we want. Like, you know how you can put in, I want close range, and I want this, and I want that, and you put all of those things in, and then you request pawns, and it says, oh, there's 50 of these pawns that you can get, let's say, because I remember this. It still happens, as a matter of fact. And then I go through the list, and I go, no, not that one, no, not that one, no, not that one, no, not that one. And I go back and I've dismissed those pawns because you have to dismiss them or it won't let you summon more pawns, and I summon the next group and so on. And then when I go to get more, it cycles back in the ones that were at the top of the list again, and I can't get past however many there are. I can't get to all, you know, 80 maybe that might have had the things that I want. And I found that really frustrating. So I don't know what that is or where that comes from. Um, but I found that really annoying. So there's that. And the other thing is a lot of people, like my pawns are private. What does that mean? They're set for friends only because, like I said, on the Switch, there's the invalid data issue. There's the disconnect where it won't be invalid data, so it goes through, but not all the rift crystals get through for whatever reason. And so I'll get a gift, no rift crystals, and like 5 stars, and oh my god, I'm hiring your pawn again, and you're like, what? But I got no rift crystals. And yet I get a gift and like a good rating, and I understand people hire pawns to fulfill maybe a certain thing, but not when you're getting like level 3 armor out of it. So you knew they ran with your pawn somewhere good and you got a good gift. So, and then the same person hires your pawn again. And the next time you get no gift and a bunch of rift crystals, drives me nuts. All right, let me do this.
Rather cozy, this place. Say, if
Okay,
you've the need
so
for
let's go into here. And again, I'm going to grab some things too, because once I do that, so my experiment, my grand experiment, but I'm going to have to try it more. I'm going to be completely honest. Like I love all my pawns, and I think I'm going to leave that on her. No, yeah, no, I'm going to dump that. Out of all the pawns I have, my favorite is Barahir. Like out of all the pawns I have, it's funny how I like have to restrain myself when I make a new account to not use her. She just kills everything. And when you're low level and you wanna it doesn't matter to you how quickly you level up. I mean, it does towards the end, don't get me wrong, because at first you're like, I know if I don't, I actually try to restrain from using Barahir because she just kills everything and I can get through the content really quick to where I need to be and pick up stuff where I need to be. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So we did use stuff.
wouldn't it be
Trick is getting them to do my asthma, though. That's the trick. All right, let's pull this stuff up. Okay, so she needed some. Oh, that's from the original fight. There we go. That was from the Gazer. This is from earlier. We're still doing good. Okay, we're still good there. We're still good there. You know what? I'm going to tag 2 in here. Ooh, okay. Roz, you get 5 of these. You know, I'm going to give you 6. You know these guys are going to go... I don't even know why I'm bothering. Because we're going to get stuck in that one area. Huh. What do I want to do here? I got to think about this strategy for a second. Because that is super annoying. Alright. I'm sure it does, but here's the thing. Like then you also get. I'm gonna test that. I have a Mystic Knight, and I'm gonna test that. I can change Shadow into a Sorcerer, and I'm gonna test that because I've also had. I mean, I had a pawn that had miasma, Mr. Misery, on her, and like I never. I'm gonna be honest. She was casting miasma and it wasn't getting my great cannons to go off. So did great cannons have to be down already? Because I wasn't getting any great cannons just firing off out of nowhere. So that's my question for you. Did a great cannon have to be down somewhere? That's what I'm asking you. So you have miasma works well with great cannon. It triggers the great cannon and you don't have to do anything. So does that mean that Mr. Misery. So asking again, if I do nothing, because I had a pawn that was putting down. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because I had a pawn that was putting down miasma. I had a Arisen with great cannon, and it didn't pop off any great cannons. Oh, okay. How does ranking work? All right. So there's two ranking systems, Pam. The one that you pay, there's the one that's almost like permanent at this point. That one was almost set at like day one of launch. So, and then that first month, essentially first month, 6 weeks of the game. Then there's the ones like monthly and all of that. So the monthly ones are you have to be hired a lot, you have to get 5 stars a lot, you have to get like good gifts, but that's not necessary. You just can't get 3 stars. Or you have to get 5 stars across the board and hired a lot. Oh, well, okay, so she casts it first and then you go in and plant it. Plant, okay, so it doesn't trigger Great Cannon. So how it works is this. She has to put miasma down and then you put a Great Cannon down. And I really, and if you remember, Pam, too, like again, like I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna, if you remember, there was a guy that made a post, and he probably had a point because, um, and that was that I'm grabbing something here because I'm going back for.
Rather
No, I'm not.
cozy.
Actually, we're
If
moving
you've
on.
no dying.
I don't. I don't. Let me look. I want to look at what I've got
Rather,
here.
if you've the need and the pull, what'll it be then?
Oh my goodness. I think not. I
What'll
think
it
we're not
be?
going to worry
If
about it.
you've no dying.
Well, there's another thing that it's Mr. Misery. It's more than that though, because Barahir gets tons of hires, and I don't like always. I don't have the time anymore to reciprocate. So it's um, so there's this. Someone made a good point the other day, and maybe about 10 days ago now, and they said, I went in, and all I see for hire these days are striders. So last year, from about because what people say, it's a misconception, because any well-built pawn, depending on what you play, and that's the big if right there, it depends on what you play, but most people say like, don't take a warrior pawn, they're terrible for endgame. That's not true, because I've got Rosmith with me right now. It works for me because I'm a magic archer. It probably would work for me if I was a strider. Like if I, it might not work for me if I was a ranger. I might need to take something different. I don't know because I don't play ranger that much. Not really much at all to be able to make a judgment call on that, right? Because the ranger's a sniper. Like they stand back and snipe. That's just maybe how I play it. But and so they made a point that there were a lot of striders. Everybody was making striders. So let me go back. Last year, starting in about August of 2018, from August to December, every new player who joined made a sorcerer or a mage. One of those two. We had so many sorcerers or mages, and people were saying, I just need a good strider. I just need a good this. Then it swung for a bit where we had sort of a combination of, the occasional fighter. You don't see very many of those. Well, people don't advertise as much. Or if they're advertising like in Discord and things like that. And then, but you don't see too many end game striders. So then there was like a lull in the game, and where there wasn't much going on at all. And then people started to realize, oh well, maybe I need to make. It went kind of swung the other way, and we saw a lot more fighters and rangers. You still or striders. You still don't see too many rangers, and you still don't see too many warriors. And I think it's because there's people either play ranger themselves and don't want a ranger pawn, or they don't know how to make a ranger pawn. You know, and so I still think ranger pawns are like a specialty. You have to know like that's what you want, and you have to kind of know the class. It's like fighter. Not every pawn is a good fighter just because they have a shield. You kind of have to know. Same with warrior. Like they're good pawns, but people have to know how to make them. It's so right now, like I said, about 10 days ago, somebody said something about there's a surplus of striders, and I would have to agree that's true. Every new person now has been making a strider pawn. Doesn't mean they're good, just means every new person's making one, so they're less likely to hire one. It's just a weird, like, thing that goes on.
I wonder what's inside.
Let's have a look. What's this?
Well, okay, I'll open it. Okay.
Take that. Shall we head this way?
Okay, I'm going to be careful here, because usually when I don't hear them, I don't hear death, but usually... No, there was an incident now. It's about a month and a half old, and it was a legitimate complaint. And, okay, there they go through the clean cloth. See how all of them are? I'm looking to see what those girls are walking in. I just walked in it, but I did that on purpose. Well, we're just racking up rift crystals. Okay, but I also want to add, there's a lot of people. Okay, whoops, no, I don't want to save. So I'm just going to put this out there, not to piss anybody off or anything like that, but then there's this. Base stats. They have a lot. People aren't dumb, and they do look at those things. And so, you know, if somebody's stats are like in the 500s, then they're not nearly as effective as, meaning the pawn stats, as if they're higher. I know because I have a pawn like that. I have a pawn. She's well trained. She's all of those things. She's 200 points lower than Barahir. And when I take her into bitter black on hard mode, she cannot do the same amount of damage. So we're gonna stop now. Guys, I'm stopping this right now. Okay, Pam, I'm going to stop this right now. um, and everybody, when you start promoting your pawns in here, that's like self-promotion. So, like, we're going to stop. Um, I'm just going to do that because, like, this is my game now, and you guys are like, hey, I've got a pawn, and her name is this, and please hire her, and this is my PSN, and, you know, like, no, there's places to do that. And then we're not looking at the pawns that are playing here, like Roz is here and stuff. And so I'm taking her out, and like we're not looking at the people that are here. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Okay, we got nastiness. Oh, I got to get out of that. Because then my things get filled with drama, and I am so tired of the drama. Then I get accused of it, and I didn't start it. The casual gamer is right. Oh, 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 golly. I got smacked good. These guys are focused on. You get Barahir up. All right. Go get Kate up. I got to go get Roz up. Yeah, and you're a jerk, too. Barahir, get out of there. No, it's just... Ooh, Roz. Oh, that's because she used up the panacea. Okay, let me give that to her. She doesn't have any. She got set on fire. There you go, Roz. No healer. And I can't heal ya. That should help. That's why I hate them using so much of that stuff. I could give them 20, and they'd go through 20 of them. And now I feel bad because, you know, I'm picking that up. Ah, I'm using. As soon as he casts. Okay. Now all my fun's gone out of this.
This object is cursed.
I wonder what's inside.
Blast it. I'm getting blindsided, and actually at this point, no. Ah, come on, controller. Ruining my mojo here. Come on now. I can't even move.
To attack it head on.
Okay, guys.
can't slow them where visibility is poor. Will give us time to react.
Oh, I got this already. Okay. See, I'm so upset now that and I know I shouldn't let stuff bother me, but I'm so upset because I'm upset. Okay. Okay, so let me just I'm not trying to be mean, okay? I'm really not, but like if you want your pawn to be hired, if you want um to hire somebody else's pawn, there's Discord communities. I'm linked to two of them. You can join those and put your pawn up for hire there. There's also Dragon's Dogma Central, I think is a third community I belong to. I should probably add that to the three that are out there that are on Discord. On PlayStation, there's two big communities, and the one is really, really active. People put their pawns up for hire all the time, and you know that one is a bit of a give take. You hire my pawn, I'll hire yours, kind of a thing. I did a lot of hiring. I've hired Pam's pawn a lot, but I can't. This is Raza's turn, and like he's hired my pawn, to do stuff, and I can't hire everybody's pawn. I'm a one person. This is just me. There's only me. And yes, you see me use my pawns a lot, but I made them on purpose because for a time I couldn't, like, there weren't any good ones around or people weren't active. And I didn't mind that at all. I didn't care that I was sending to I don't it's not for me to tell someone else how to like play or not play Dragon's Dogma. That's not for me. I love the game. So if someone is getting all these rift crystals from me, that doesn't bother me at all. And if I'm sending them stuff, that doesn't bother me at all either. I've had people message me and say, I still have your pawn so and so from like back in March. Do you care? No, I don't care. I don't. If I when I was certainly when I was really only on one account, Barahir, and I needed gear and armor and stuff for her, I'm getting upset. I did a lot of give and take, a lot. I'll hire your pawn, you hire mine, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. A lot of it. I hunted the Ur Dragon, so people who were new to the game, I'd give them all kinds of Ur Dragon gear and stuff, but I'm one person. I can't, like, feed an army. I can feed one person at a time. That's all I can do. And so there's places for people to put their pawns up for hire. There's game facts. A lot of people don't join Discord or they don't join PlayStation 4 communities. They don't join Xbox communities. Or they don't use Steam. They have their own community as well. That's really active. And so they will go to GameFAQs and put their pawns up for hire there. The PlayStation 4 one is still really active with pawn hirings and stuff. And please take my pawn out. I need, bestiary knowledge. I don't know about Xbox. I don't, and Steam doesn't really have a presence in this game on GameFAQs. It's basically self-contained, you know what I'm saying? And plus, a lot of people who have their own channels have their own Discord servers, and so they hire and fire within that one, like people who have thousands of followers because they play other games. They'll do their own stuff, and their loyal followers will go in there and probably post their pawns for hire in there. I don't really know, but there's lots of places to put your pawn up for hire, and it's kind of like yeah, and some people use the official pawn sharing club. I used to use that, but it, I um but like I have a notebook, casual gamer. Don't laugh. I have a notebook from PlayStation 3 days where I kept track of all of my rents and then would go in there and stuff and I started to do that here and I actually got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed with I have filled a 3 ring like whole notebook spiral bound with rents for Bear Her. I can't even and eventually, you know, you just lose track, and I just said, I can't do that anymore. But that's another good place, is the official pawn sharing club. Um, Honestly, I used that for the Switch. That was an excellent, good point. That was another excellent place. But people did stress that are in the official pawn sharing club that you didn't need to belong to it, that people would still hire your pawn, you know, on GameFAQs, because that's usually where you find it. You find it from GameFAQs because you know you log in there and then you see it on all of the like Switch and PlayStation 4 sites. And I don't know about Xbox, but yeah. So there's places to put your pawn up for hire and everything without getting involved in any kind of anything. I just always seem to find myself like, I don't know what it is. And when I say stop, people get upset. You know, when I ask, please don't do that in my stream. This isn't one where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to hire whoever's in the stream their pawn, because I possibly can't. What if you're on Xbox? I would love to hire Giants, you know, I'd love to hire Slayer's Sorcerer. Do you know what I'm saying? I would love to be able to hire her. I can't. So if I say hiring subscribers pawns, I can't do that because I'm on PlayStation 4 now and he's on Xbox. Photon, I know for a fact, is on the Switch because I use his one pawn when I run through this game, because I like to have when I run my ranger through, I use my pawn, I use his pawn, and then I use my ranger, so I have that combo because I kind of like that combo and everything. But I'm not really active there anymore, and so I set my pawns to private because I'm not that active. I know I should get more active and finish my ranger off. It's like a guilt trip, but I like to save it for when I need a break. And I didn't really ever advertise Kate, by the way. Like, she's got what she's got from just friends that knew I made an alt pawn, so I never put her up for hire. But people were like, hey, I see you running with this other pawn, what's her name, blah blah blah, and then I've exchanged friends codes and everything. But that was with people who also aren't so much active anymore. My friend Chris, he's not active on his Switch anymore either. We were kind of running together through that game at the time when it came out back in April. And we both made alt pawns at the same time, so that was pretty hilarious, trying to beat the the Condemned Gore Cyclops in the Midnight Helix when you're super low level. And you have some throw blasts, but yeah, you know, they're weak to ice, so I would use this like baby sorcerer. She had some ice spells, and there was a lot of crying, let me tell ya. You know, I'm running out of stamina here. There we go. Well, you know what? Certain PlayStation people would love for people to think that, which is unfortunate. You know, the whole right, I know. That's what I said. There was a lot of crying to cheese that Condemned Gore Cyclops in the Midnight Helix at a low level. Like a lot of crying. I had a baby sorcerer, but you know, she could cast some ice, but because it's really weak to ice. Oh, my puddle, Photon! I landed in my puddle. I feel happier a bit now. Come on. So there's lots of places where you can put your pawn up for hire, and it's not about ranks. It is about, I think, being active somewhere in a community Um, okay, so this guy doesn't want to fall here. He's being a jerk. Oh, sure, we've all, like, resorted to different methods. Sometimes I've turned around and the pawns have taken out the Gore Chimera. I will say for a time, like on my YouTube channel, I used to have my friend code to my switch pawns, but then I took that off when I realized I really couldn't always return hires. Um, did you? I know, right? The throw blast method. Yeah, I've not done it on the Gazer. People have told me to do it, but I did use it on the Condemned Gore Cyclops. I must have had, like, the max amount of whatever I could afford. Alright. Deal. Of, gold, I don't know. I'd have to, you know what? I would have to look at my gem account, because that's the one. Come on. Quit trying to swing me off. Oh my God, girls, are you gonna... Thank you. A Strider and a Ranger, and they stood there, like, yelling at me about how, they've got to do something to... Sometimes I lose my mind, and these are all well-trained pawn. Don't expect the warrior to, rip it out of the sky for me, but a Ranger and a Strider come on, and they're like, something about it's gonna brace for a dive. What dive? You guys are standing down there, like, looking at me like I'm an idiot. Yeah, so so I'm looking at everybody's stuff. So what I'm gonna do is when I'm done here, I will add Dragon's Dogma, uh, the other Discord server, to my YouTube channel, so you can find it. And again, I don't put my friend code on here, but I will, you know, and again, I was saying this about promoting and all that stuff. Photon has a channel, and sometimes if you go to Photon has a YouTube channel, so look him up. So if you can't find him any other way, but he is in he is in Discord. He's in the Dragon's Dogma Discord, not Dragon's Dogma Central. So I'm going to add that one when I get done tonight. If not tonight, because it's going to be late, I can already see. Then I'll add it tomorrow, and you can look it up, Carla. Then find it and join. And every single one of them has a place that says pawn hiring hall, pawn renting, something like that. And but sometimes if you can't, if you see a YouTuber and you know they're on the Switch, or you know they're on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox or wherever they're on. I know Photon's on the Switch though. Then you can always message that YouTuber like, "Hey, I really would like to use your pawn," and stuff like that. I don't rent out Aredhel or Ayame because I can't return the hires there. I can return hires on the PlayStation, but again, like I said, I'm a one woman. I can't, for every person that wants to hire my Barahir, I can't always hire back anymore. It's just overwhelming. And I'm grateful for the people that hired her and gave her a chance when she was nothing. I'm grateful to the people who, like, were my friends that ran with me back in the day. Cariel, you know, um, Yeah. So I'm grateful to those people because we literally hired each other's pawn. Execution 189, that's not his name anymore, but he was the one that hired my pawn, and I'm super grateful to those people. But I can tell you that, after killing the Year Dragon as many times as I have, I've given away, if I go in, not on this account, but on my main account, if I go in and show you what I have, it's I still have so much, and yet I gave away half of what I got from the Year Dragon to help new players. I just, after a while, like, other people have to pay it forward and pick up where other people are. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, good, Carla. So I can tell you that it's one of them is called Dragon's Dogma Central too, as well, Carla. So that's a third Dragon's Dogma Discord server that you can. Oh, look at that! I didn't have to, like, stand here a gazillion times and do that. And introduce yourself. Like, people will go in there, and that's usually one of the bitches too. Is that, hey, my name is, so and so. I found out about this from such and such a person, Gemmalady, or it's always nice to get a shameless plug there. But it, she told me to come here and, like, try to get my pawn hired. My pawn is a level blah 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 sorcerer, and give all the relevant information so that people can help you out, because there are so many nice people in here. Oh, go ahead, pick it up. I'm not even gonna God's Bane for stuff. Exactly, because there's a lot of people that don't do that. They just don't do it. They just come in, hey, I need this, give me this, and or they show up, hi. They don't even say hi. Like, they just casual gamer knows what I'm talking about. These people come in, how come no one's hiring my pawn, man? Kind of a attitude, and you're like, we didn't even know you existed. Because after a while, people have their favorites as well, and then there's like a Mystic Knight. I know for a fact uses something a little bit different setup than a Magic Archer. A Strider uses a little different setup than, say, like, everybody's different. They all have a different play style too. That's it. Don't be like, I need RC, so rent my pawn. Think people really don't like that. Give me bitter black weapons. That's another good one too. Like, and then you'll say, like, okay, if I don't do it anymore, I'm kind of tired of rude people, but um, you'll have people come in and they'll say, I need rift crystals, and you're like, okay, what level are you? Oh, I'm level 10. What? You don't need rift crystals yet. You just started playing. Don't tell me, blah, 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 blah. And wow, they cop an attitude right away. But it's true. At level 10, you don't need rift crystals. Even if this is where you are right out of the gate. I mean, yeah. I understand later you come over here and you're like, man, I could use some rift crystals and stuff. And then it's still nice to jump in and say, hi, my name is Gemmalady. I'm level 82. I have a level 82 fighter pawn. Her name, or his name, is XYZ. Here's a picture of them if you're on, like, PlayStation 4. If you're not and you're in a Discord, then you list all the relevant stuff. People sometimes give funny backstories to make their pawn stick in your head, so you rent them, but that's not necessary. I don't ever write those backstories because I'm not that clever. Slicker, Slim Shady. That's a good one. That is a good one. Thanks for cheering me up. Oh my God. Slick us. I am now going to think about that every time I see you in Discord. I was feeling so bad before I almost stopped, but I was like, no, 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 just get a grip on yourself here and everything. And I realized that, that's funny though. Every time I see you now, if I say Slim Shady to you, you know what I'm going to be referencing. Because now that song is stuck in my head too. Yeah, we have a thing. Casual Gamers right. Oh, you missed. So we were talking about when you join Discord or any place to say like, "Hi, my name is so and so, and I have a pawn for hire," and then it just about never mind. you, you had to see it when I saw it. So Sachi said, "Hi, I'm Slicka Slim Shady," and it just broke me up because now I have that song in my head. Hey, and did you know what gazers are? Like, so I know what the evil eyeball is, which is kind of cool. And I'm thinking the gazer comes from something even, my name is, well, and it's funny because the other day we watched a movie, I think it's on Netflix, maybe? Maybe it was on Prime Video. It's the one where the guy gets the, I can't think of the actor's name now. Boy, I feel dumb. But it's got, I can't think of any of the actors' names either. That's terrible. All right, I'm trying to decide here while these guys are creeping closer. Crawling closer to me. Oh, look at these guys. All right, there's one. Optimal distance. That one's still frozen on the ground. Okay. Oh, and I kind of knew death was coming. I kind of knew it. Where is he floating around? He likes to go. He likes to go right in there. I don't know if I really want to deal with him. Is he in? He's usually right in here. Let me see if he's here. There he is. Yep. No. I don't feel like it. Yeah, he's a jerk in here. Okay. That's my stutter walk with my controller, so that's awesome. It's my left analog stick that, like, I can sprint full on forward and don't run into a problem. But watch, I think it'll happen when I try to walk really slow. You'll see her kind of stutter sometimes, and that's like I need to get like my air can in there and like clean out that area, which is annoying because my other controller, which is older, doesn't do that. These are like the newer ones, and they were like the left analog and right analog sticks were like stiffer. Oh, the Joy-Con. Yeah, I use a Pro controller, so I don't notice it nearly as much. But I do have like weird things. Like I said, she'll do this. I think it'll happen here when I start to try to just walk. It's not happening so much, but you'll see her like jitter, or she'll like do a weird walk. You have a wired Pro controller? Yeah, I have a wireless, which I love. I love it because I can be wireless. But I don't love it because I really have to, because I'm used to this button right here, which is our D-pad in the middle. And on the Xbox, they have like the staggered control, like the staggered, things are staggered a bit. I don't know why, but that's a pretty comfortable controller too. And my Pro controller feels like harder or plastic, like really hard. I don't know what it is. They're gonna come out with uh, I bet Nintendo comes out with like a nicer or better version of it or something. Does that make sense to you? Like one that's more comfortable, um, and probably now that I'm going to stop for 1 second because that's one of my things. I bet you if I got one of the off-brand ones, but still Nintendo licensed, I bet they're comfortable. Like I think they're called A. They've got a Joy A or something like that. Ugh, go away, cat. My kitty cat's here. He's decided that. Okay, there it was. There was a little bit of that stutter movement. Okay, make up your mind, sir. Sorry, not talking to you. I'm talking to the cat who is trying to decide where he wants to sit. He couldn't decide. He thought he would sit on my lap, which is not cool when I'm gaming. All right. Oh, I got it. Okay, here we go. Let's use that, and then these guys should be good. Okay, this will not be near as quick. See how he... All right, yeah. He does that quick left to the right. He doesn't just hang in the middle of the room. Yeah, you're on hard mode, so he decides to be a D. Big D. I can't hit him worth doggone. Yeah, he's being real grumpy tonight. Kate's getting all the hits on him. Yep, she's... Oh, he's just gonna keep up his animation, I guess. Yeah, I get all kinds of crazy stuff. In some respects, you know, let's do 2 of these. Yeah, that was weird. I've had him just come charging at me right now and just bite me. Like right there, and I think he's just going to do that. And instead, so this is what I said about, like, he is just not behaving himself. Fun times. He is just, oh, there's Roz climbing him. Oh dear, that's not good. Not good, Roz. Not good, girl. Come back here. Okay, and I am out of stuff. So, let's see. Let me grab this. Because she's on him. Are you kidding? Alright. At least we saved Roz from going into the vortex because that sucked. And he just, like, he's being an SOB. Now, you guys have seen me play him on hard before. So... he is just not going down without a fight. Thank God for Kate.
I'm desperately low on
Holy cow. She's the one that snapped him out of everything here. Wow. So now I have played him on hard with my Mystic Knight, and I have seen it all. He has vortexed over in that corner, in the back of the room. I've had him back all the way up to the front of the room, away from my Mystic Knight, and do some shady shenanigans. And which means then I'm running up to him, and it's like, because you can't hit him from like a certain distance as a Mystic Knight, and then um, so then you're on top of them almost. And of course, right then, like one of my pawns will do something amazing and put him into his third, you know, uh, bar. So that means he's going to vortex, and I'm in the vortex, which is awesome. Ah, I didn't want that to happen. And so, and you're just like, oh my God. So I have seen it all. And it's always happens, it seems like, in hard mode, not in normal mode. What the heck did she pick up? Wait a minute, what did you pick up? Wait a minute, hold it. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I know what the middle chest is. So we got, like, okay, so that's fine. What did Kate pick up? Novelty. Another novelty. Okay, so at least we got a weapon. Alright, yeah, I didn't see that. Okay. As long as we got that, I don't mind about the rift crystals and stuff. So it seems like the shenanigans tend to go on hard mode, and but that's not always the case, because I've gone in and have gone in when I was on hard mode, like well, I've gone in with Shadow and have seen some shenanigans there as well. Oh yeah, so I must have only slept for 3 days and not the required um, 4, which makes sense because when I couldn't find Barahir, I was like switching back and forth between accounts and stuff.
Seems her mind is in precarious shape.
Did ya? First time I played it was on the PlayStation 3, so I have a feeling that and it only came in one mode, which was normal. There was no hard and there was no easy. There was normal. And then they released easy mode first, I think. And then the players, were like, "What? Why are you doing that?" And but there were people who applauded that. Then they came out with hard mode. Then there was a bunch of DLCs, just a bunch. Like the different sky quests and stuff, and then when you got the DLC, when you bought the DLC, they gave you, I don't know if it was 10,000 or 100,000 rift crystals to start. That was your bonus. So you already started out with like 100,000 rift crystals. It was really, really nice. And something else too. Like you got 2 gifts. I haven't. I don't have. There's Carla. There's 2, and you're gonna have to wait for me to finish here. Um, to find you, I probably can't do it from here. In fact, I know I can't. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said, there are 2 in. If you go into my about channel, there's 2 Discord links. You can't see them from mobile though. I don't think you can click on the links from mobile, but I'm not sure. Because when I click on the links from my phone, it kind of doesn't, it, like what it does is it shows me what I can do as the owner of the site of YouTube. So I don't know if it shows me that or it shows a little pen there on mine. I can't switch to it right now, and I'm trying to recall off the top of my head. But um, for everybody else who's on, say, watching, wait a minute, you know what? I bet I can. What am I being so silly about? Let me go to the top of my thing. Usually it doesn't post for me. Yep. until after. So it's not going to show up right here. But Amazing Shades, that's Chivies. And then there should be another one there that goes to the other. Hi, Link. That goes to the other one. There's two. I have two Discord links. I can't see it from my phone, unfortunately, because I've got chat running, so I can't see it. But and I don't know if Gamma V's still here. And people have been trying to send links all along, and it might be that it doesn't let you do that. Um, yes, please, Sachi, if you wouldn't mind posting the community Discord for Dragon's Dogma Central. Thank you. I'll let it go through. So there are two. I just don't have the other one in yet. So, because I belong to three Discord servers, three Dragon's Dogma Discord server, plus my friends. And you can imagine that my phone goes nuts sometimes. You know. Yes, it was, sir. Don't hate me. People hate it, I know, but yes, that was a vape. I would agree, Sachi, that the central Discord is the most populated one and also the most varied. Like you have the one that is it has Steam and Switch, Xbox, and place a lot of and some PlayStation 4 people on it. I don't know how many. I know that the PlayStation 4 people use the Pawn Hub community, which is huge. That's got 5,000 people in it. More coming up on 5,500 people in it, and it's extremely active. So you've been smoking free, but oh, well, I smoked for a long time, way like a long time, and I tried everything. This has been only relief I've gotten, and I'm very, very happy. So I haven't smoked a cigarette for, let's see, 5 years. I'm very pleased with myself because the ratio of not to how long I smoked is most people don't ever quit actually when but if it wasn't for this, there would be a lot more people that smoke. I think that's my opinion. When it came to smoking, when people started in on me about smoking, I honestly I would feel that craving. I'm not kidding. I can, like you'd get the finger in your face and everything, and it's a lot easier to point a finger and say don't do something. But if somebody has smoked for as long as I did, it's really hard to stop. You don't just stop. And now there's so many more alternatives for people that have done something the bulk of their lifetime, and now they have a way to stop, and it doesn't involve a patch, and it doesn't involve like other ways, and and you still have your crutch, so you have something in your hand at times, or when you get nervous or whatever. It's just me, and I'm not advocating it for anybody under 18 or anything. You shouldn't even like pick up a cigarette. I started to smoke in college, believe it or not. I never smoked before, but I did start to smoke in college, long past the age actually when they think people start smoking. But actually, that's about the time people join the military or move away from home, or they leave, the sort of the controlling factors around their lives, and all of a sudden you're under stress. And I think, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's psychological and it's everything. Wow. Oh golly, yeah. I didn't ever like do that, but I did it when I left, when my roommate smoked.
was an
and she
eye on
just looked
those
so
wooden
cool doing it.
planks.
I know that's a terrible, honestly, but it looked like she looked cool doing it. She was my best friend from home, by the way. And it never like dawned on me when we were in high school. She did smoke when we were in high school together. And so when we went off to college, she was my roommate and she smoked, and I thought she looked cool. And here's another reason too. We were starving. We were like starving when we were in college. We were hungry all the time. Oh my God. And it just seemed a way to like not eat. Girls are, we're funny. We're goofy when we're like, when I'm, I look back and I think, wow, I'm surprised. I, I was, we're so goofy about food and all the, I'd rather smoke than eat. What kind of thinking is that? You know, holy cow, where does that come from? Oh Lord, I don't even want to. I know. Congratulations. So for me, um, I back earlier, like I want to say earlier this year, right at New Year's Day was 2015, no, 2014 was 5 years. So New Year's Day. So this year I'm coming up on my 6 year anniversary. So I'm very happy. You know, long time smoker too. Really long. All right, I'm gonna bug out of here. We got to see Damon do some goofy stuff. I Everybody should like chill about stuff, and I hope they do. We got to see Roz here on Hard. You changed your name on Discord to get away from everybody. Don't, did you? I can't wait. Did you? Am I going to have a good laugh? I bet I am. I bet I'm going to laugh my butt off. I can't wait to see it. Slicka, slicka. I hope you put it to that because if you did, I am just going to be like, you rock if you do that. You really rock. I am glad that people have figured out where to get their pawns hired and where to join. And yes, there's some stuff, you know, whatever, just whatever community you belong in, you know, try to be active and put your pawn up. And if you're not, you know, create an alt account. A lot of times that can help you out too. Um, and such. And also, communities too are a nice way to meet people. You know, you have to have the time to be able to like devote. Sometimes, like Photon has alts, and I've met two of them. I think he has another one too. And they're really well built pawns. And so he doesn't, sometimes you become almost self sufficient too just because of your style. Maybe your work takes you away so you can't play all the time. And then that's hard because you then want people to rent your pawn, but if they're not renting your pawn and you're not, you know, there's a lot of give and take in this game too. There's people that make a pawn and then they leave and never pick up the game again. And there's probably somebody sending them rift crystals as we speak, you know. So like, yeah, it is what it is, right? I never look at the rankings, so I never look at that tablet and say, oh, you know, this pawn is number 10. I should hire them. I tend to look at like someone who contacts me directly, for example, like in Discord. Hey, can you run my pawns? And then they're like, I know who you are from PlayStation, you know, from the community. And I'm like, who are you? Because our sometimes our names are different in Discord than they are, say, on PlayStation. Mine aren't, but you know, some are. And you know, some of us can't be everywhere at all times. Like we can't and I'm sure I could name other people too who would feel the same. They can't return the amount of hires that they get. Um, and it is what it is, right? But you just got to do what you got to do. But I don't look at the rankings. I'm going to be perfectly honest, because you know, just kind of depends. It's like a gimme rib, Krista. I cannot wait to see this. Anyway, guys, so I'm going to be on Monday. Tomorrow I'm going to be posting some updates to my YouTube channel because I'm going to slowly transition over, like I said. And MTP did ask me, oh, tonight are you going to be on uh, Twitch? And I said, oh man, with family and friends and the holiday season, it's tough to get over and like update stuff and do things that you want to do, and you still want to hit your streaming schedule and all that sort of stuff. But I'm going to make the transition over to um, Twitch, just until whatever the radioactive fallout like settles or YouTube comes up with something. I really wasn't ever worried to begin with, but you never know if they're gonna. I've already seen somewhat of a change as to what comes up on my, like, when I go into YouTube to do things, what comes up now. I see far less of certain things and far more of other things, and maybe that's a good stuff because I never used to see a lot of certain kinds of games pop up, and now I'm seeing way more of those games than I ever saw before, which I think is a good thing for those games. And you'd be surprised if Battlefield, like, that's popping up in my like recommended for you to watch. Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 4. Guys, I don't play shooters, and that's popping up because the language in there is hilarious. It's not my cup of tea, but I mean, like, the people, how they, what they say to one another in those chats, wow. And that's popping up, and like the ads have shifted quite a bit from kiddie kind of stuff to like more adult stuff. So if YouTube has gotten their hands slapped, it's already showing up. But I don't know that for a fact, and I'm not gonna like promulgate rumors and all the scaremongering that went on. So, but eventually I knew I would have to go over to Twitch anyway, just for the fact of my probably my PC play because it'll look prettier there. So, but I'll make all the updates on my YouTube channel, and then I'll probably post that stuff in Discord. So anyway, I want everybody to have a great night. And nope, she did good. Like tonight, I was getting smacked around, and some of it was there was a bit in there where I was a little upset. So I went quiet, and I had to regroup because I got upset. But she did good. It's I would say like tonight on hard mode, it was the same gameplay. These three did really good together. I get smacked around a bit more. My stamina drain is super high, super unfair. The pawns hardly suffer at all. Of course, they get knocked around, but it's the normal knock around, and that's okay. Um, we had dire drakes, and I hate them. I really hate them, and they're a little tougher. Um, in that their physical resistance is higher than say the wyverns and the worms. That's my personal take on them as a magic archer. So they take just a tad longer to kill than say wyverns or worms. But everybody did great. But anyway, nighty night, and I'll see you on Monday. And if there's a change to where I will be broadcasting, you'll see it anyway when I post that link as to where I'll be. So we'll catch you then. And my light is even going out, so that's perfect. So so we'll see you then. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you later.